Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. I have a very special edition show I would like to talk about with you guys. It's very important and I need to discuss it. So, if you ask the question what suicide means to me, I think it's a very, very deep question. A lot of people die from suicide every day. A lot of children, young children, like between the ages of 7 and 17, and between the ages of 18 and on up, they die. You can't keep them from dying, but they die every day. And it's sad to my heart. It's very sad that people are passing away due to suicide. And so I wanted to discuss how you can get rid of those suicide feelings and stay strong and not have to worry about suicide beating you. But I'll take a moment to wait because usually my TikTok fans are already on here and I'm waiting for them to come on here. There's no way. There we go. There we go. I was wondering where you guys were. I was like, dang, I don't have no friends no more. What's going on? Just one person popping up. What's going on? There we go. There we go. We got some stragglers coming in. So this is a very important episode. I really want y'all to listen to this episode today about suicide. It's very, very important that y'all listen to this episode today. I'll wait for more people to come on. So, um, what does suicide again mean to me? It means that it's a disease that cause people to grow into a depression because something isn't right, and then they start to think, well, what if I was better off not on this earth or on this world? Maybe I should kill myself. And that's not the right way to get attention, because once you're gone, you're gone. You're gone forever. And you could have made history with something. You could have did something that caused a lot of people to agree with your views, values, and respectfulness and all of that good stuff. So, suicide is something to me that can be cured, and it doesn't have to take medication all the time. What if you were without medication and couldn't afford medication? Medication helps, yes, but you need to be strong. With all this medication that makes you feel what? Numb. You need to figure out a way to deal with your own suicide. So, how do we figure out ways to deal with our own suicide? So, we can sit up there and, you know how doctors ask you, have you planned the suicide or whatever? That is a telltale sign of having, a sign of going through with it, yes. But that doesn't mean you go through with it. Some people don't go through it. Some people are a little weaker than others. But those that are weaker than others, let me tell you, I have the remedy for you that makes those plans to want to kill yourself. Now, I'm gonna be honest, way back in the day, I was in y'all's shoes. I was weak, but I was strong too. I had to be strong enough to say no, and I made sure I was one of the ones that thought things through. Some people don't, and I want the weaker people to actually think things through. And what I mean by that is to ask yourself, would you really be better off not being on this planet just because you don't have any family? It's mostly people, even children, that feel isolated, that feel nobody wants them, that feels like nobody cares for them or loves them or any of that, And so what they do, because I know I've been there before, very long time ago, is the disease invades your mind and make you depressed because it's like a interview with the devil. Please look at the video. Look at the video because it's like the devil invades your mind. And that's what I think of it as. And what it does is once it invades your mind, you start crying. You feel depressed. You feel like nobody wants you. You're not thinking logically. You're not thinking logically at that point. So whatever's surrounding you, such as a knife, a gun, or anything, you will be ready to actually take your own life. But then you have to stop and think. See, on Interview with the Devil, we lack thinking. And that is true. We sit up there, we get depressed, and we act on our depression actions and not our real feelings. So what we need to do is literally think about this. Well, let's say we're going to do like 4 different examples. So let's say it was a 7-year-old. Well, one, they need to be suicide classes and ways to look for problems in children with the parents instead of watching and doing all this LGBT stuff. We need more classes on parents noticing the signs of children that are suicidal. I don't want you to just drug them and think that it's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay that way. Talk to them, engage with them. Well, I got work. Well, you're going to lose your son or daughter. Don't blame the government, blame yourself. And now the 4 examples. We're going to say a 15-year-old child. A 15-year-old child is going through depression. And so he tries or she tries to talk to the mother, and the mother is like, I'm busy at work. She got this big corporate job. She's like, I'm busy at work. Is the medication working for you? And you're like, yeah, mom, but I just really want to spend some time with you. I'll do it this Friday. Friday comes around, nothing. She overhears her mother saying, I don't think the medication is working. I don't know what I'm going to do with her. I mean, I have this big corporate, I have to make money. And that just messes up her world. That really just messes up her world. Children aren't stupid. Teenagers aren't stupid. So she goes in a room and she has access to everything from her mother's narcotics to her daddy's stuff, and she starts to think, well, maybe my mommy don't need me no more. and starts to sit up there and come up with a plan. Now, in her case, since she's 15 years old, a plan is not okay, because the more she tries to reach, because it's the parents' fault on this case, because the more she try to reach out to her parents and the more her parents shut her down, she's going to think everybody is like that. And this is a dead man's case. When she do expire, because she probably will, even when she go to school, it's like people pick on her. The teachers are too busy to listen to her, and she's just isolated. No friends. It's a lot of people out there like that. And so now she's like about to go through with it, and she doesn't succeed. Number one, first time she doesn't succeed. She take a bottle of her mother's narcotics and don't succeed. Now her mother is, they're saying, ma'am, do you take care of her? Do you, questioning the mother. But they don't tell her mother to be more solid and be more engaging with the child. So she still doesn't be engaging with the child. And the same repeated pattern happens with the 15-year-old until she succeeds one day. And then her mother has a nervous breakdown and say, it was me. While people around her say, it wasn't you. It was just, and it's just sickening. It was the parent. The parent had the child. Even though the parent was in corporate world, the parent should have found time for the child. Now that's one case. Another case, the guy is 21 years old, and he is living in his parents' house. And you know what happens when a 21-year-old is living in their parents' house. Fights all the time between the father and son. And so it's like the the father is like, well, why don't you get out and find a job? I don't need you in my house. I worked hard for my house. Why don't you go to the military? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And the son is like, no, I'll get out when I'm ready. I'm saving my money. And they get into this kerfuffle or whatever. And then he starts to drink. Then he starts to use methamphetamines. But the parents don't know he's drinking or using methamphetamines. He does it downstairs. So, um, one day the mother is cleaning the room and she finds something. And it's a metallic uh, aluminum foil with some black soot around it. And she questioned him about it. And he's like, it's not mine. And then the dad comes out and see it. And he wants him gone. He actually immediately called the police. They say he couldn't do nothing about it. He got to go to court. And that's what the father does. While that's happening, the son is backed into the wall. And it's like now the son feels like his parents don't love him or trust him, but it was the 21-year-old's fault. He got into drugs in the first place. He got a little too relaxed. But now he starts thinking about committing suicide before they give him the 30-day notice. And that's where I come in. He has to think. That's where the book Interview with the Devil come in. We lack thinking in the world, and that's where the devil wins. The devil won with the 15-year-old, and the devil will possibly win with the 21-year-old, because what will happen is the 21-year-old will seep into a Great Depression, and his brain isn't even really fully developed until it's 25, 26. So that means that he's smoking meth and he's drinking, deteriorating what brain cells is trying to build to 25, 26 years old, killing those brain cells. So he's not really thinking. He's just thinking about his buddy, which is the methamphetamine and the alcohol. And this is causing him to think irrationally. So what we need in a story is a friend. But I don't want to put a friend in there. You know why? Because this is solo stories. I want it to be without a friend because situations sometimes happen, and y'all need to hear what happens when you don't have a friend involved. Some people do not have friends involved when it comes to suicide. That's why they commit suicide. So let's turn it upside down for him. Let's say he thinks. So this guy, he started thinking, even though his brain isn't mature enough, he started thinking because he got his mom's values and his dad's values. He's like, I did do the drugs, so I might as well take the consequences. I'm going to talk to a recruiter tomorrow and I'm going to tell him the whole situation. So he goes upstairs and he talks to his mother and father. But first, he made a plan. He made a plan to shoot himself with his daddy's gun. How did he get out of it? A positive thought. A positive thought about something he loves and enjoys doing. Then he said, if I talk to the Army recruiter, maybe they won't let me in. So I think that I'll get a good government job and I'll quit the meth and I'll quit the alcohol. Let me talk to my parents about this and maybe they can help me and not do the 30-day notice. So he goes upstairs and he talks to them, and positivity come from that. They don't want him to leave now. And he comes through on what he says because he knows that at any time, if he messes up, they will get a 30-day notice on him. So another case, a veteran going from homeless shelter to homeless shelter, being followed by illegal immigrants and immigrants that are Americans, this large organization. For what reason, she doesn't know. So it's making nobody believes her. It's just killing her inside that nobody believes her. They're treating her like a basket case. So she sits up there and she had one gun left. She puts it up to her head and she was going to pull the trigger, but then she thought of something else. She didn't want to. She thought. She was thinking of something to live for. If you can find something to live for. What if you don't have nothing to live for? What if you messed up your life by the jail and prison? You still can make it. Go out there and speak. Talk to the government about having you speak about it to other people so that they won't be in your shoes. Make an organization. That's what you have to live for. There is no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. You cannot blame nobody but yourself for getting in trouble with jail or prison. But don't think of it as a negative thing. Go out there and speak to the people. Speak to them. Tell them what you've been through and why you went to jail and how your brain is now developed. Think about how many men go to jail with their brain not developed, fully developed, and is in jail for life. They don't even get a second chance because they didn't think about, and that's a fact. I'm not just saying this. And then let's say they do have probation and they get out 50 years later, but they're cutting down the time. So in any scenario, when you feel like you want to commit suicide, when you feel, I'm going to get off of YouTube and I'm going to show y'all Interview with the Devil. That's what I'm going to show y'all. By Edgar Allan Poe. He was in the military. He was in the army. I'm going to show y'all a little bit of it. And I want y'all to listen carefully. It's wrapped in the text of old dialogue, sort of like Nevermore, you know, with the raven and the man speaking to it. It's in that old English type style, but they discredited him. I think that this was a very powerful book, and it was a true book. It talks about them discrediting him to make him look like this book wouldn't be so powerful, and it didn't become so powerful like it should. You know, he said most of his colleagues didn't want this book to be powerful, so they made him look bad. And I don't know how I even stumbled upon it. Hold on. Because I keep saying, look, look, look. And y'all not going to look. So I might as well show you. Follow me at the Kimberly Cloud Show 39. This is what depression, this is like, he's telling us how he gets into people's minds. You can believe it or you don't have to believe it, but it is true. It is very, very true. Very true. If you listen to it, you will see that everything he says way back in the day is happening now. Cigarette smoking. He knows how to get you to smoke cigarettes. He knows how to get the fetus inside the womb to begin to cuss and smoke cigarettes before they even come out the womb. This is a 3-hour thing. I'm only going to watch it for like 30 minutes because it sounds like he keeps saying the same thing, but the questions he asks are different. And the whoever this was that he interviewed keep going around in circles purposefully.